Welcome back to another episode of So You Want to Read. This week, we are discussing the genre of historical fiction. Historical fiction includes novels that are set before 1950 in which the historical backdrop plays a large role in the story. The author is writing from a place of research instead of first-hand experience. Historical fiction can take place all over the world and throughout all periods of time. For example, there are novels set in prehistoric times all the way up to the 20th century and on all continents. Historical fiction can involve real-life people and events, or it can use fictional characters. Research is an important part of writing historical fiction. Authors try to recreate the past by describing accurate details on all aspects of life, including food, clothing, architecture, culture and social norms, politics, and religious beliefs. Readers often value historical fiction novels that can maintain the illusion of historical accuracy. The fiction part comes from the story the author creates, which includes the plot and character development. Most historical fiction novels revolve around the same theme, which is that throughout time and despite cultural changes, human nature remains the same. Many subgenres can overlap with historical fiction. This can include romance, mystery, alternate history, time travel, thrillers, and more. Sagas are a particular type of historical novel. Sagas follow characters' lives and family relationships over many years, sometimes throughout generations. They usually focus on one family or multiple families, and often there is a matriarchal or patriarchal figure that serves as a guiding force for the story to revolve around. Classic, War and Peace. This is a classic almost everyone has heard of. At over 1,000 pages, it is a long book, but it realistically takes the reader back to the French invasion of Russia starting in 1812. Approachable, Girl with a Pearl Earring. This book constructs a narrative around the well-known Vermeer painting by the same name. Readers will get a feel for life and social issues in 17th century Holland. Wildcard, Outlander. This well-known book series mixes elements of romance and sci-fi with time traveling throughout the 1940s, 1960s, and 18th century Scotland. Some tips for reading historical fiction. Historical fiction readers often appreciate gritty details of what life was like in the past. This can include graphic depictions of violence and mature content. If this doesn't appeal to you, make sure to look for books on the softer side. This is a genre that involves a lot of research on the author's end, and many readers appreciate the realistic details provided. Be aware if you're not in the mood to read a lot of background information. Many books blend elements of real-life events and people with fiction. Sometimes it's helpful to do your own research to figure out what is accurate. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.